Breaking the News with Des Clark.
I am Des Clark and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. And joining me this week is stand-up Susie McCabe, and with her is comedian Ahir Shah. And facing off against them is comedian Tiffany Stevenson, and joining her is stand-up Mark Jennings. In the news this week, 2 Sumatran tigers at an Indonesian zoo are recovering after testing positive for coronavirus. And the 2 park keepers who put the swabs up the tigers' noses are recovering also in A&E. A Scotsman battled crippling seasickness, scary night swims and a swollen tongue to become the first person to swim, run and cycle the length of the Outer Hebrides. He's now asked, though, if he could please have a different paper round. And Boris Johnson turned down an invitation from Nicola Sturgeon for an in-person meeting to discuss the pandemic at her official residence in Edinburgh this week. The Prime Minister apologised, explaining it was too short notice to get 55 babysitters. Right, you've met the panel. Let's crack on with round one. And this is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess 2 major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Susie and Ahir, can you tell me our first story, please?
Social distancing and limits on social gatherings are to end
at the Tokyo Games
as the country moves beyond level 0. Nicola Sturgeon
has become Great Britain's youngest Olympic medalist of all time.
And the First Minister said,
"This is incredible. It feels unreal."
Susie, how are you feeling about this? Any idea on the first story?
This is life beyond level 0.
Oh.
Why are we not just saying life?
It is the news that almost all COVID restrictions in Scotland will be removed on Monday the 9th of August. Social distancing will largely be dropped, meaning more capacity in pubs and restaurants and larger crowds at sporting events and concerts. However, face coverings will still be required in some settings.
I love my 40-year-old mates from school, who I say mates, Facebook friends, and they're like, well, I mean, can I go to a club? Can I not go to a club? Can I wear a mask? And I'm like, when was the last time you were in a club? It's like 2001. Also, it is not compulsory to have to go to a club. No, Nicola Sturgeon's not like, right, that's you, mask on, poppers in your pocket, out you go.
Mask on, poppers in your pocket, out you go is like the Scottish version of Hands Face Space.
Listen, I am...
Well, there it is. Some restrictions being eased. In fact, almost normal life in certain areas from Monday. Is this what you saw coming? Is it what you expected?
Well, no, because originally when my plans, sort of when lockdown were ending here, I was like, I'm going to emerge in head-to-toe leopard print, sequins, 25 pounds of hair extensions, a spray tan and like 5 pairs of false eyelashes. But on the day, I just had a lunch inside a Coke brasserie. So it wasn't quite as big as I sort of thought it would be. So, you know,
I think a lot of people are annoyed here because like level 0 didn't mean no restrictions and now we're beyond level 0 and there's still restrictions. I think it's a bit like in a relationship that someone says there's no strings attached and then all of a sudden you find yourself like, looking for furniture in IKEA. That's a bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be.
Some restrictions are still being held in place. Are you happy to see some restrictions staying?
I mean, I was principally stunned that before this, apparently people didn't wash their hands.
Obviously, they're saying with nightclubs and stuff opening back up, you might need a vaccine passport to get in a nightclub soon, which I'm against, to be honest, right? But just because I don't want to have to loan mine to my wee cousin so they can get in the garage.
Can you imagine?
I'm a wee bit worried about when I have to meet up with all these people that I've said that I would meet up with during the pandemic, and now you're like, oh yeah, do you want to go for that beer? No, I don't want to go.
That excuse is gone.
Listen, you're a yoga instructor. I'm a fat comedian. We have got nothing in common. And let's just agree on that.
Yeah. When will it feel like the pandemic is over for you, Ahir?
I mean, like, I think I'll feel like the pandemic is over when I'm not recording this in my bedroom.
What about you, Tiff? When will it feel for you like the pandemic is over?
When I start seeing COVID nostalgia. So, you know, like,
Wow.
so when I start seeing those crappy keep calm and distance sort of slogans on a tea towel, maybe some mugs with hands, face, space on them, I'll know it's truly over and we've moved into nostalgic tat phase.
The First Minister also said we should be looking at people making a gradual return to work, or as most folk call it, commuting via ScotRail. Yes, the end to most COVID restrictions here in Scotland is the correct answer. Susie and Ahir, well done. You get 2 points for that. Woo. And to you now, Tiff and Mark, what was the other story we were after?
The Olympics, perchance?
Absolutely right. Well done for getting that. It is, of course, the Olympics, and the news is that we are at the end of the second week of the Olympic Games, and what a Games it has been. There has been much success for Team GB, with hopes for even more medals before the Games are over. 13-year-old Sky Brown is now officially Britain's youngest Olympian after winning a bronze in skateboarding. A lot of people spend their teen years hanging around skate parks, and while they can't skateboard like an Olympian, I very much doubt Sky can down a bottle of White Lightning in under 30 minutes. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, literally.
See, when I was 13, I wasn't even good at doing skateboard tricks on the PlayStation. Do you know what? I do feel sorry for the kids who go to school with Sky Brown, though, right? Because, like, imagine, like, going into PE class where somebody's got an Olympic medal. Like, I had a hard enough time competing with somebody who was pro youth for Partick Thistle, never mind.
There we go. Tiff, what a couple of weeks it's been for the Olympics. Are you into it? And if so, what's your highlight been?
Oh, my highlight has been how angry some men were at the Victoria's Secret show not being... Sorry, the beach volleyball not quite going how they wanted. Obviously, with the change to the uniforms for like bikini bottoms and sand are a very uncomfortable combination. We know, women know. If you've ever got sand in there, it's a chafe that is constant and borders on the existential, and you're never really sure, like, if you've got the sand out.
Ahir, what do you think about the Olympics this time around? Have you enjoyed it? Have you had any highlights?
I've enjoyed it tremendously, and my highlight is just the fact that it's happened in the first place, right? It's like, it's been that way, like, with the Euros and with the Olympics. I love that none of them have bothered to change it to 2021, and it's like, we all know what's happened.
Did anyone see the two twins in the gymnasts for Team GB? So they were talking to the co-commentator, and she said, "Can you tell the girls apart?" And she went, "When they're performing and they're on the floor and they're doing their stuff, I can tell exactly who's who with their style. With them both doing a face-to-face interview to camera, I have no idea."
What?
I know.
That's so weird. So if you want to tell them apart, you've got to say, look, do a handstand.
There's a ribbon. Have it danced in the garden.
Are you surprised by how successful Team GB have been? Because a lot of people didn't see it happening to that extent this time round.
It's so weird to me, like, we seem to have a conception of what this country is that is so far removed from what this country is. Like, we think of ourselves as like, oh, well, it's always raining and we're terrible at sport and what have you. And then you look outside and it's glorious sunshine and Team GB are doing very well and the things. You're like, yeah, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. It's like...
I think the success has been amazing, but the Team GB is funded through the lottery. So the lottery is basically a tax on optimism, which is probably the most British thing I've ever heard in my life.
My dad's Scottish. I know one thing Scottish people hate is overconfidence, and that is why we all have to go to the Fringe every year, isn't it? In case we get too big for our boots, so people can stare at us going, I don't think so, next clown, please. Like, I love that. I love the challenge of it.
Do you know what? One of the highlights for many people, and it's become a meme, is Tom Daley obviously doing brilliantly, winning his gold medal, then turning up at various events and knitting.
Love this.
Now, this is it. He's just become a human meme, knitting at the events. He was spotted knitting while spectating. What about yourself? What do you do to pass the time?
Well, I also knit, and I used to be quite proficient at it, but I've started letting it slide just because a while ago I caught myself of an evening, I think it was like a Saturday night, and I was just sat alone in my room, knitting, drinking a gin and tonic, and watching The Crown. And I just, you know those points in your life where you see yourself from outside of yourself, and I had one of those moments, and I was like, not yet. Like, eventually, but not yet.
Yes, of course, we refer to the Olympics and the continued success of Team GB, including our very own Scottish athletes flying the flag. And of course, the iconic Olympic symbol is the 5 rings. It represents the bringing together of all the nations and reminds the athletes of what they need to give their mum to let them know they're safe. Well done, Tiff and Mark. You get 2 points for that. It was the mashup of Life Beyond Level Zero in Scotland and the Tokyo Olympic Games. And at the end of that round, the teams are all square. Woo, hey! Now, so much of our news is about public opinion, and this week we spoke to Homes Under the Hammer presenter Martel Maxwell and Still Games stingy pensioner Tam, aka Mark Cox. So, Tiff and Mark, what story do you think Martel is on about here?
In many an English newsroom, when I was a journalist, I'd hear people say things to me like, "Hoody toody too," and take the mick out of my Scottish accent. Thankfully, it didn't bother me because I was so proud. I was like, yeah, and what you certainly don't do is try to change for somebody else.
I think it's a story about Alex Scott getting criticised for pronunciations of certain Olympic sports.
And that, Mark, is the right answer. Well done. It is the news that ex-House of Lords member Digby Jones criticised BBC presenter Alex Scott for her pronunciation and said she should have elocution lessons. Scott responded saying she was proud to be from a working-class family in East London. She received support from many online, including colleagues, sports people and politicians. So there we go, Mark. Do you think this is more about class than it is about accents?
Absolutely. He's like, Alex Scott has been a football analyst for ages, and like this has never came up. And then as soon as she starts hosting some sporting events that posh people watch, all of a sudden they're like, she's not using the right elocution. It's like, it's not really a surprise, is it, that Lord Digby Jones never tuned into Match of the Day?
I think, like, I can imagine that there's probably at least 3 people on here who would describe themselves as working class, I think. Weirdly, Ahir and I grew up about 5 minutes away from each other, and you wouldn't think it, would you? Like, when we talk.
By that, Tiff means she lived in one of the wings of his house.
It's very curious. Like Tiff said, we grew up very near one another, and I went to my local. I come from the same area of London as Riz Ahmed, and I went to my local comp, and he went to a very fancy private school, and now he's a rapper, and I sound like I'm from the past, and it's deeply unfair.
I'm a big believer. I don't really think there is a right and a wrong way to pronounce words. I don't believe in all that sort of stuff. Like, and people in Glasgow get a lot of hassle for using the glottal stop. You know, so like when I was younger, I used to always say butter, and my dad would try and correct me. He'd be like, "Oh, it's not butter, it's butter," which was ridiculous because it was margarine. There's never any butter or butter in it.
Oh, I love it. Tiff, what do you think if we're talking about accents? Is there a best or worst for you?
There was a Twitter poll, wasn't there, about all the different accents and how, and weirdly, RP came out as a sexy accent, and I don't think it is massively, unless you're like talking super posh, you know, where one likes to speak about oneself in third person, so technically that's a threesome.
Yes. Susie, thoughts on this then? Obviously, we're talking about accents. Is there a best or worst for you?
I'm going to get grief for it, but see, that whole Fife, I'm not quite talking, I'm singing. No.
What do you mean?
Just that, I ken what you mean in that, Mate, what if you just done with your, what is, just tone it down, man, just chill. Aye, that.
Can I pick up your Fife gigs when they get cancelled now?
I've not got any.
Digby Jones caused a start after a furious rant aimed at presenter Alex Scott, saying she is always dropping letters from words. Lord Jones was further confused when he heard that in response Miss Scott had called him an anchor. Yes, Alex Scott's proud London accent is the correct answer. 2 points go to Tiff and Mark. Right to you, Susie, and I hear, what do you think Mark is talking about here?
I've been up many times and toured shows up there back in the day. Well, what I would say to somebody is, okay, Close your eyes. I'm going to put a blindfold on you. You mustn't open your eyes. No, don't cheat now. It's going to take 5 hours. And then I'll go like this when we get there. Ta-da! This is where you live now. Bye! And then I would helicopter myself privately back to the big city.
I think that this is to do with the fact that the Scottish Government has proposed offering young people and families a £50,000 incentive to stay on or move to the islands.
It is absolutely correct. Well done. That's the right answer, I hear. The Islands Bond, part of the government's National Islands Plan, aims to tackle depopulation in Scotland's island communities. People taking advantage of the scheme will find life in the islands is much slower paced than on the mainland. There, the bus timetable simply says it might be today.
I think the government has played this all wrong. What we need to do is get a Scottish Love Island situation here.
Yes.
Right, just
Brilliant.
people on, cliff sides with sexy knitwear. That's what we need.
Could you leave the city life behind? I know you love being there, but could you do it full time?
I love the seaside. I love the countryside. And Des, as you know, I'm a keen astronomer.
Yes.
I love the dark skies. But you know what else I love? Deliveroo.
And what about you, Mark, for yourself? Would you take the offer, 50 grand, leaving city life behind?
I find dating hard enough in Glasgow, I can't imagine having to live in a place where you match with someone on Tinder who's 5 kilometres away and then you realise the only way you can meet them is by getting on a boat.
Yeah, it's awkward if the date doesn't go well.
Yeah, exactly. It's a long boat journey home,
Tiff, what are you thinking? You spent plenty of time in Scotland, strong connections to the country. Are you surprised that people need an incentive to move to the islands?
If I was on the beach and it was an island that wasn't just a completely pebbly beach, then I'd think about it.
So you would actually consider giving up the city life and moving to an island?
Yeah, well, the only thing is, though, I want the guaranteed weather.
We can't guarantee the weather.
We can guarantee a warm welcome, though.
So obviously we're trying to encourage people to move to the Highlands, but how would you encourage people to move to where you live?
I would say that I live in central London and there is a tremendous housing crisis. Please don't come.
Tiff, what about you? How would you encourage people to move to where you live?
Well, I currently live in Muswell Hill, so I don't fit massively in here. But I would say, come to Muswell Hill, where the people wear North Face, as if we live up a mountain and not a slight incline to the nearest Waitrose.
Mark, how would you encourage people to move to where you live?
Well, I'm from Clydebank, so if I wanted to encourage people to move there, I would have to lie. I actually think what Clydebank should do to try and attract visitors, right? We should try and undercut Glasgow as a place to start filming movies and stuff like that. It'd be a bit cheaper, although I suppose there would be more of a risk of the Batmobile getting nicked and all that.
The Batmobile on bricks, just in the back of an industrial estate.
Yeah, do you see it come on Facebook Marketplace?
Yes, a £50,000 incentive to move to the islands is the right answer, and 2 points go to Susie and Ahir. Yay! You're tuned to Breaking the News on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Susie and Ahir, you're up first this time. Who is this?
I worked on a film called Just Cause, and Lawrence Fishburne was in it. We were traveling somewhere for the film, and he said to me, "Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you want to be an actor, or do you want to be a movie star?"
Scarlett Johansson, isn't it?
It is Scarlett Johansson. Why are we talking about Scarlett this week?
So, Disney, they reckon they've done her out of £100 million. Now, I don't think they would have done that to a guy.
Susie, that is correct. It is Black Widow star Scarlett Johansson. Johansson has been in the news this week after it was revealed that she was suing Disney for an alleged breach in her contract, resulting in a quite substantial potential loss of earnings. This is after the simultaneous release of Black Widow on Disney Plus, as well as in the cinemas. Johansson says that other Marvel cast members have offered financial support, but she's had to politely decline helping Gwyneth Paltrow sell candles.
from the sort of basic thing where it's like you were promised a certain percentage of the box office and it isn't going to be released in cinemas in the same way, it seems pretty open and shut. I did also remember when listening to that clip of Scarlett Johansson discussing the conversation that she had with Lawrence Fishburne and him asking her whether she wanted to be an actor or a movie star, it really hammered home to me how much listening to any actor talk about acting makes me want to shoot myself in the face.
Scarlett Johansson, Tiff, has said that she's been treated unfairly. Do you agree with her?
Yeah, I definitely, I think it's unfair. I mean, we keep talking about the type of roles that women can get, and it feels like it's changing slowly. And I'm not sure how true this is, because I went on Netflix the other day and I came across this film called Barefoot. This is a genuine description of the film Barefoot on Netflix. It says, he's a millionaire's son about to enter an unhappy marriage. She's mentally ill with no shoes. So...
Amazing.
I think we can agree the roles are out there. So maybe, you know, if you just shut up and look for them, because no shoes is a character trait.
Susie, what do you do then to improve the cinema experience? If we are saying it's dying out, what can we do to help it?
Tasers. What we need is tasers.
Tasers? What? Come on.
Because the problem with the cinema is people. You've got the eating, the chatting, the phones. I want facial recognition and I want tasers.
I was once in a film, I think it was like Cold Mountain. So this is going back a while. I don't even know how this guy got reception in the cinema. But he was on the phone and the first 5 minutes was discussing the flavour of his Slurpee. And then the film had started. He was like, yeah, I can only talk for like another 10 minutes because the film started.
Yeah, I've been annoyed by a lot of the same things that Susie's mentioned, although my solution to that was just to give everyone headphones in the cinema instead of tasers. But I also think they should bring in bouncers at the door so they can be like, what have you seen before this?
Not tonight, mate, yeah. Yeah, well done. 2 points to Susie, and I hear that was Scarlett Johansson. Right, Tiff and Mark, it's your turn. Who is this and why are they in the news?
The University of East Anglia was great. I chose a course deliberately that was very broad in biological sciences. That was a really good course that I really enjoyed.
Is it the lady who created the AstraZeneca vaccine?
Is absolutely the right answer. Well done. And that is Professor Dame Sarah Gilbert. And why do you think that she was in the news this week?
Oh, I think it's because they've made a Barbie doll of her.
No, that's actually the right answer. Yeah, they have. Thought from you, Tiff, do you think this is a fitting tribute to one of our leading scientists?
I don't know. Does it come with the extras? Because, like, Malibu Barbie had the house and Ken. So I think Vaccination Barbie needs to come with lab assistant Ken and 5 people with anti-vax protest signs and the word freedom spelt incorrectly on them. I think
Dame Sarah said she found the creation very strange at first, but she hoped it would inspire children. She said, my wish is that my doll will show children careers they may not have been aware of, like a vaccinologist. It's thought this year many parents will be buying their children the Dame Sarah doll for Christmas. But remember that for best results, you'll need to get a second one 8 to 12 weeks later.
If I was her, I would be worried that it'd be used by anti-vaxxers as a voodoo doll.
Nah, the last thing they'd want to stick a needle in anything. Hear, what's your take on it? We've got Professor Dame Sarah Gilbert immortalised as a Barbie doll. Do you think it's a fitting tribute?
I am in absolute awe of Professor Dame Sarah Gilbert, and I absolutely hate this tendency for there to be like a woke capitalism that just smells of bandwagon jumping. And it's like, actually, it's done to make money.
Susie, we've got Professor Dame Sarah Gilbert. Do you think this is a fitting tribute?
No. No, it's not. No. Do you know what? I totally agree with here. And it's a bit like now, and I know you're going to be like, oh God, geez, I'm never happy. But you know in June, when it's like Pride Month, and you walk down a street and every high street retailer has just got rainbows everywhere. And they're like, oh yeah, get your barbecue from Argos because we love the gays. And you're like, Argos! Chill, man. Chill. Like your dad thinks he's doing well. He's like, I was in EE the other day, got a new phone because they like your mob. But you're like, what? Like, it's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean?
Tiff, what about you? Do you think this Barbie doll will do what is intended and get more kids into science?
I don't know that the Barbie doll's the way to do it. What you want to do is you want to get chemistry sets for kids. Like I got one for my 15th birthday, but just had one experiment in it that seemed to involve me peeing on the end of a stick.
Mark, what about you? Not have you peed onto the end of a stick. What do you think about this idea the Barbie doll will help kids get into science? Do you think it will work?
I've been watching the Olympics all week, right? And all I'm seeing on the telly is all these kids wasting their time on BMXs, skateboards. Grab them off those podiums and stick them in a lab. That's what I say.
Yes, Dame Sarah Gilbert is the right answer. Well done. 2 points go to Tiff and Mark. And it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
There is no time to waste.
There you go. That's Jonathan Van Tam, desperate to get right back into the nightclubs. Okay, teams, here we go. What took 51 hours, 5 minutes and 27 seconds?
An Amazon worker's 40-hour week.
And no toilet breaks. What took 51 hours, 5 minutes and 27 seconds?
Is it slightly more than 2 days?
What took 51 hours, 5 minutes and 27 seconds?
Scotland's participation in Euro 2020.
No. The actual answer is this, that cyclist Christina McKenzie has set a new women's record for completing the Land's End to John O'Groats route in 51 hours, 5 minutes and 27 seconds.
There is no time to waste.
Oh, there we are. That's the klaxon. Jonathan has Van Tammed. It means it's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Susie McCabe and Ahir Shah. Woo! And commiserations to Tiffany Stevenson and Mark Jennings. Woo! Hey! And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Breaking news just in. The Disney store in Glasgow's St Enoch Centre is to close after 30 years. The company says all stock must go as they need the money to pay off Scarlett Johansson. A giant panda has given birth to 2 cubs at a zoo in France in what officials say is an exceptional event. The twins are identical to each other and to every other panda that's ever lived. And Scottish scientists have developed a new microwave sterilisation process that could cut the time to disinfect ambulances from 40 minutes to 30 seconds. Now they just need to find a fork big enough to pierce the roof of the ambulance. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye.